We.
You may-
This week,
It's okay.
or I
Call,
don't know.
call tomorrow morning.
Probably.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Call me.
Yeah, I'm gonna call you tomorrow.
or
I'm gonna email you tomorrow.
email.
Do I have to put something on the breaker box or something? Or does the state, will they send me something?
Well, it's really up to you because on the CO, there's a box to check, yes or no, it's attached to your utility. So it's really up to you. It's, this will be on file.
Perfect.
So,
That's all I need.
yeah,
Okay.
and I'll email you the CO in the morning when I'm in the office.
Perfect.
Fans on.
Get the heat.
Push the heat down?
Yeah, it is.
Heat is
Actually,
on.
the heat is on.
Yeah.
It's warm in here. Let's see.
Okay,
Well, I said
I'll
something to Brent.
Oh, you just got.
Yeah, I said, listen,
Age for potential
we come up
training.
here and I already
Oh,
know,
nice.
they'll just freeze it.
I'm just trying to.
You. Control it.
I know, I
Could they
know.
turn it on an hour before we get here? You know, get it going.
You know, it's such a big room, I know.
It is,
It's
I know,
such a
you know, I know
shame.
it's expensive, but.
I know, it's a shame that,
They need to have, go back to having the barn dances, the round dances in here and the square dances.
There you go. Square dancing.
We'll have
Learn
another.
that fourth
I think
grade.
I apologize, because I was gonna,
They
email
had
you,
that here every
you,
Wednesday night in the summertime when I was a kid.
I figured you'd assume.
Yep.
But
Well,
also,
all
I'll
right, have a
announce
good night.
that, but also,
Good night.
oh, what if she doesn't have enough people?
I think we should,
I
because
was gonna ask you too, because I had feedback from someone else that on a butter that they didn't get their, but you got
We got
a
a letter
notice? Okay, good.
for Pascal and Vicky, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the letter.
Okay. Okay, just making sure, cause I got feedback like a week ago that they hadn't received their, like they knew, not for his, for for the other one,
Oh,
that they hadn't received their
Yeah,
butter
the viewing.
notice. Yeah, so
No, ours
if you
came
got
in-
yours, that's good.
came in the real mail, the real mailbox mail.
I haven't,
The one from.
we are on, I don't.
Shoreline protection.
oh, somebody's coming
Yeah.
up the stairs.
Yeah, okay. Because we.
Did
have
they
the-
send that to us?
Oh, good,
Patty.
Patty's here.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Oh, you sent it?
With the post office.
Oh, okay.
Is on strike in Quebec, so.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, you can't send anything up there.
yeah, I couldn't even send the notices.
It's, probably last 3-4 weeks. at
Really?
least, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
It's a big.
That's why
Mike.
the post office has that sign. I wondered why
Have
the
you
post
been
office has a
affected
sign,
by
you
the,
can't mail
border
anything to
closure?
Canada right now.
Right now,
It's just up.
Or-
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the US, and this is before, Trump takes office or anything, like. the
No
US,
problem. Okay.
reduced the border hours all across Vermont.
Yeah.
I'm not recording it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to figure out how to get,
Because we have an access
hook up
card,
to
so
be
we
in.
cross at the main
At the
border.
main border,
Yeah, so I don't think we'll be
Recuses
affected.
herself. We have to have one more board member.
But some people that I know.
I did not hear that
But
anybody
can you
wasn't.
go through a
coming
meeting
in.
with your.
David's
David's gonna be
David
on.
said he was gonna be on.
He's gonna be on.
Small,
The little ones are
just
gonna.
little-
Rouse's Point too,
Yeah.
I think.
Rouse's Point.
Rouse's
Yeah,
Point.
yeah, but still, you can go to Champlain, the
Balanceville,
big one,
the big one's always open,
yeah,
so and.
but they might
Nexus-
only have one
and the
lane,
Nexus
but.
car.
I couldn't believe they closed them all, at 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
And the little one that looks like a toll booth is closed at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
That has been, I like that.
But I like going up through Noyon, the one straight up Alberg to Noyon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And I don't know what they've done with that one, but
this one will be closed at 8 also.
yeah.
that's what we
The
used to
next
do.
one.
I'm from Montreal originally, so that's how we always used to
Yeah.
come down.
Oh,
The next one up at Albert Springs Road,
Yeah,
This one's
is
for.
the 4 o'clock. one.
yeah, that's just the,
yeah, yeah. Okay, David's on too, good. Okay, welcome everyone. It is 6:37, Thursday night, December 12th. This is a meeting of the DRB. Members in person, Patty, Christine, Delcy, Diana, our clerk, Danielle is here, and then on via Zoom, we have Lisa, David, and Chip. Since Charlie's not here, Chip, are you willing to be an voting member for the two hearings tonight?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, are there any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, we'll move on. Any public comments? Okay, so the first hearing is application 2024-105 DRB, a setback waiver. And please correct me if I mispronounce this name, Vicky Halley and Pascal Carrier. Location 1532 Blockhouse Point Road. And Pascal is here to represent. Are there any interested parties?
And, I'm a neighbor, so I will recuse myself.
Okay, so Christine is recusing herself.
My husband and I have both talked, with Pascal and Vicky about what they want to do. And have expressed favorable.
Okay, we may actually come to you, ask you questions then.
Okay,
Do you want to be an interested party?
sure.
Okay, so Christine Salambi is going to be an interested party. Is there anybody online who wants to be a interested party?
Christine, would you sign in as an interested party? Oh, and Pascal, did you sign in?
Charlie's now online, but we still need Chip for this hearing because Christine has recused herself. Thank you. Okay, so if it's just Christine and Pascal, I need to give you both the oath. Ready? I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause and a consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Thank you.
Okay. Other than Christine, any ex parte communication, any conflicts of interest among board members? None? Okay.
Diana,
Yes.
before we get started, could I, after the initial presentation, I would like to request that we consider this as either a setback waiver or development on a small lot.
Okay,
And we can discuss that when after the presentation.
okay, yeah, let's get the presentation. We've got your application, but we'd like to, would you like to move up, sir?
Yes.
So if you would just like to talk us through what you'd like to do here.
Yeah, well, the main thing is I want to have a garage at my place. I don't have,
Can everybody hear him?
yeah,
Okay,
okay.
thank
I own the property and I've got a cottage and I've got only a small shed on that property. So I need something to store my stuff. So I would like to build a garage. 17 by 30 feet garage in a cleared area. It's already a place that has no trees. It's like a sloped area, but I would need to do some excavation at this place. But it's an area that doesn't really show to the neighborhood. So that's it. I just need extra space for storing because I'm gonna be at that place more during the winter. And we used to store all our summer stuff inside the cottage. And now that we're coming
Now
there
you need
every
room.
week, we need the room for that. So our small 8 by 12 feet shed is not big enough to do that. So would like to build a garage.
Okay, questions from board members?
I have a question. Did you attempt any layouts that would allow you to keep to maintain the setbacks as required?
Yes, we did, but the problem is like I said, it's a sloped area. And we tried to move it as far as possible from the property line. But if we go more, or if we have the 25 feet, we'll have to probably cut a really big tree. And I think that's the main reason. We don't want to cut that big tree that gives us privacy. from the neighborhood and even the neighbors from us too. So would like to keep that big tree, and it's also, like I said, a sloped area, so as we move further away from the line, we have to dig more in that little hill.
I see, okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So where was the driveway? I mean, where, is that the same place as?
Well, the driveway, if we look at, I've got the plan here.
Is it the dotted line on here? Was that the driveway?
I've got this here that may be more, oh, you've got this one. So we've got the main driveway up here,
Oh.
close to the cottage.
Okay,
And we've got a little parking area here,
okay.
and that's where we want to build the garage.
So, so then you'd be using this as your driveway, wouldn't you, to go, you'd park in the garage?
We could park in the garage, but we usually park up here.
So you'd leave that driveway, okay,
Yes,
so you're not.
this is a private road that my neighbor here uses also.
Okay,
There's a property here, and this is a shared road.
okay,
So our driveway is actually just this little part here.
okay. So if you're looking at the drawing that was part of the exhibit then.
Yes,
Then
this
the
one here.
driveway,
The driveway would be here.
the little dotted line that's on the
Yes.
left side of the page. Okay,
Exactly.
yeah, and it goes, so this is, where you're putting the garage isn't gonna be a primary driveway.
No, no, no.
Okay, that's
No.
what I was wondering.
No.
Yeah. All right,
We're still gonna park on top of, because this is like a little hill,
okay,
we're still gonna be parking on top here.
okay, all right.
This is the main, well, the main road. This is the private road.
Oh,
And
okay.
it goes around and up the hill here, and the
Okay.
garage will be on the other side of
Of
this
that,
wall.
yeah,
Right
all
there.
right, okay.
Like I said, it's already a cleared area.
Right, yeah, I saw those photos.
Mhm.
Any other question for board members, comments? Chip, did you wanna? If,
Yeah. Just a second, let me get his. This is a very small lot. Is
Yeah.
it 0.7 acres?
Mhm.
0.77, I think, acre.
And the setback for, it's not very deep, so it's fair, the back of the property is pretty close to the shoreland, I mean, the bank.
No, it's exactly 114 feet from the water,
The garage is.
the garage.
So that's close.
That's correct.
And I'm not quite sure, I was looking for the exact criteria for a setback waiver compared to development on a small lot. Development on a small lot is allows the applicant and the board and now the shoreline protection a lot more well, I wouldn't call it leeway so much as ways to look at the property. And a small lot, considering this a development on a small lot, which the garage is a permissible structure, might allow the board to be better able to figure out a zoning solution for this request. So I would,
Chip,
my request is just to look at both criteria and see which one better fits this request.
Chip, on page 22 of our bylaws, I think what you're referring to in section 5.5E on setbacks, it is administrative waiver for pre-existing non-conforming lots. And it says for pre-existing non-conforming lots with not more than one dwelling unit. and no accessory dwelling unit, you don't have an accessory dwelling unit, the ZA may grant a 10-foot minimum setback for not more than one accessory structure when all the following can be satisfied. The setback is from side and or rear property line. The proposed structure is less than or equal to 150 square feet, with one side of the structure measuring 8. And no other variance or waiver is required. Is that what you're referring to, Chip?
Yes, and I'm not remembering exactly the dimensions of the proposed structure, but I think it's more than 150 square feet.
May I
Yes,
speak
Yes.
as ZA?
Yeah.
510.
And it's
That's-
17 is the smallest dimension, so it does not fit that because it's greater than 8 on the shorter side.
Which is
So-
why I'm suggesting we look at this as under 9.2, which is a development on a small lot, which allows one accessory building. And it does not have a minimum dimension of the garage.
That's interesting.
But it still requires a setback waiver.
No. Well, I think if you look at it, well, I would suggest that the chair might read it out.
Are you talking about C1 under 9.2? Improvements to non-conforming
second.
structures and uses?
Excuse me, as an interested party. You're an interested party.
Yeah. So,
So this is a state, this is, we are required by the state to allow development on small lots. The minimum lot size, I think is 0.2 acres. This meets that. And the, this is not what I thought it was.
This, according to 9.2, it says structures located on pre-existing small lots which otherwise conform to these regulations, including setbacks, are not considered non-conforming.
what section were you?
9.2.
Well, right, and so section B says, we shall not prevent normal maintenance or repair and,
I don't think this is relevant, Chip, because this says continuation of non-conforming structures or improvements to non-conforming structures, and that's not what this is. This is a new structure.
Oh, the garage would be non-conforming, but. the
But it's a
house
new
isn't-
structure.
The house isn't
Yeah.
non-conforming, yeah,
Yeah.
so it's, yeah, okay, I get it.
So I think, did you want to speak as a
Oh,
ZA had?
Excuse me, when you were reading the pre-existing non-conforming lot, information, I just wanted to mention that Pascal had come to see me as ZA and I met him and Vicky out at their property and we did discuss the option of, a ZA being able to grant that 10-foot, setback. But because of the size that they wanted to have their garage be, obviously it didn't meet the 150 square foot. So we did discuss that, but that's why I recommended him to the DRB.
Yeah, my judgment is that we stick to the setback waiver, looking at it that if does the rest of the board agree with that?
I totally agree.
Okay. But thank you for bringing it up. It's always good to make sure we're doing the right thing here, Chip. Are there other questions? As a a neighbor and an interested party. Christine, did you have comments as far as the application is concerned?
George and I looked at the property with Pascal, and actually George looked a little bit more deeply than I did, and we have no issues with it. There's a little, not a driveway, but a little pull-off that Pascal pointed out. And it's, right across from our property. And then the garage would be, set back in there. It doesn't affect us at all. Site-wise, or, I mean, I think the only thing that'll affect us is the excavation. And
Yeah.
Pascal and Vicky are good neighbors, and I'm sure they'll take care of that. And I've seen, I always care deeply about what's going on with regard to the frontage, from the lake and anything that's gonna harm the lake. He's already got
A draft
a draft permit from Shoreline Protection. They've been out to visit, and he's already got that. So, my concerns about, trees and lake and all of that are certainly not a concern. And I also can see where, by the way, it's worth mentioning, this is a historic property.
That's the blockhouse,
It's
isn't
the
it?
blockhouse.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it is a historic property, and so I think the idea of, maintaining the integrity of the property, the trees, there's actually a monument there,
Mhm.
so the space where you put this is rather limited. And, it's a cottage, and cottages have stuff, and we all kind of get that. So, no, my husband and I are in total support.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, appreciate that.
So we're going with 6.2. A2 for structures on non-conforming lots. The DRB may approve a reduction to yard setbacks. And then our review standards, one is the neighborhood and the characteristics of the neighborhood, which we've heard about. Other things that we need to look at are, may require outdoor storage of materials and equipment, including waste, not be stored or located within the reduced setback area. That includes parking your boat, etc. Some of those things will need to be adhered to. If it's given approval for having this as close to the property line and the road, so.
What do you mean? I didn't get this.
So, outdoor storage of materials and equipment, we may require that it not be stored or located within the setback area,
Okay,
so
Outside of the garage.
outside.
okay. So even
It's
if
just-
right now, that's where we used to,
The pictures, yes.
yeah. So this is not, we can't leave this there, even if there would be no garage there. Is that what you're
No,
saying?
yeah,
This is difficult because, I don't even know if this is appropriate to say it, and Danielle may be able to shed more light on this than I. But the neighbor built a shed, started building a shed without a permit. And is within the is not within the setback, the 25 feet. And the private road is, the width of the private road is one car. You can't get two cars.
Mm.
Somebody's got to pull over. And, these are all non-conforming lots. It's the end of Blockhouse Point. The houses have been there. My house itself was a camp that was torn down and then built in 2008 by somebody else. We bought it in 2017. So, it's probably irrelevant that the neighbor built his shed without and this was a year ago. But it's kind of annoying that stuff happens, and then somebody, like Pascal and Vicky come and say, hey, we want to do this right. And we said, hey, call Danielle. And he did, and, you know, so they're very small lots. And I know we need, like, once the deck, not deck, once all this boating stuff, whatever it's called, decking, not decking.
Well, the dock,
The boat lift.
Boat lift goes into the
it's
lake.
temporary.
It's
temporary,
temporary,
yeah.
yes. And so we need that space to back our
Artists.
trailer, you know, to go from our property.
Mm.
George will back from our property
Yeah.
into that little spot of Pascal's to get our trailer and our boat onto that little skinny
Yeah.
road. And so,
We all out,
we all,
everybody.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of us put, when we pull docks out, put them in,
Within.
well,
the
like
waiver.
mine is right, I'm sorry, but mine is right against the fence, okay?
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So I guess
they're only at
Mine
limited
too.
docks when you pull them out.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
To restrict that little square.
Okay, now that we know it's a
Yes.
temporary, I think that makes a difference.
It does make a
Oh,
difference.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
And it
really,
would
it's just
actually,
the
I think-
boat stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would actually not harm the neighbors, but impede like my ability to use it for our trailer when it's open.
Yeah.
So
Lisa, did I hear you start to speak?
Mute.
Yeah, now, there is a provision where we consider setback of other non-conforming buildings, and we take the average of the non-conforming buildings as a new setback dimension. Does that sound familiar to anyone?
Yes.
Where is that?
that is where is that? You're right. Number 3. So it is
Conditional use.
6.2.
3.
D3. But that is setbacks to state, town, or private roads or the lake. And this is the next door property, is it not?
Yeah.
If,
So that
Well, it's
doesn't,
also labeled as, it's not 25 feet from the private road.
from the private road, we're asking a 10-foot setback.
Right.
We would be at 15 instead of 25.
Which are, which number 3 says, in no case shall a setback to a state, town, or private road be less than 25 feet from the center line of the right of way.
but his isn't from the center line, it's from the edge of the road.
Yeah.
So it should be okay.
Depending on, yeah, is the road,
The right of way for the road probably is.
Yeah,
Let me see. I was there, yeah. Does it seem, do you think it's 25 feet?
A little more than one car length.
You're-
I mean, one part of it, so yeah, I mean, that's at least
Would it be? If you took a measurement from the center of the road and went back, 25 feet? Is that a place you could build?
Well, I could, but I have to impinge on. Well, we'll have to cut 2 other trees and we'll have to clear some area that are already vegetations.
Okay,
So the way I positioned the garage was to not impinge on the vegetation and try not to be too close to the road.
okay. You're pretty much limited here,
Because we have to be at least 100 feet from the lake.
yeah.
We're at 114 right now, so we're just in between.
Yeah, it seems like if they could be shut, if the garage could be with more towards the lake by a couple of feet, it would meet the private road. Cause it doesn't look like it could meet the.
And then we'll have to probably cut some
If it,
other trees.
if it was just rotated
Yeah,
slightly,
Yeah.
it
yeah. you're
it
right.
would make it harder getting in and out, but if it was rotated,
So that the
Like-
back
like
is
that.
parallel to the line that. is
that
drawn
this
to the-
here is further
Yeah,
back.
but well, we'll do maybe a front door also. If
Well,
you-
this
if
is
you ro-
17 feet, 17. feet
Yeah, but
across.
we're talking about that point here from the road. So
Right,
if you rotate it, this won't go that far this
Yeah.
way. Believe me, I worked a lot
Yeah.
on the plan and I
I-
tried to,
try to.
even like
adjust it.
this, it would be a little bit hard to get into the garage, but that's the best I could do. Because there's two other big trees here. One there, maybe, and then another one here that doesn't affect this, but. It's squeezed in between, and it's also, like I said before, it's a sloped area.
It's a steep slope.
Steep,
It is,
yeah.
it's steep.
And this is Lisa again. The reason for not moving it more westerly is because of your walkway? Is that right?
No, it's because of the vegetation and trees that we will have to cut.
What if you went on, I mean, just to the other side of that one big tree? Or and made it closer to the camp?
That'd be too high, like, we would have to do a lot of excavation. As we move this way, it gets steeper.
Very steep slope.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Pascal, from the garage.
Yeah.
You're asking for how much more feet?
To the private road,
To the private road,
10.
but that's to the end of the private road. If you were to count to the middle of the private road,
Well, it's gonna be, maybe we're something like 3 feet short.
yeah. And the only house on this road that's affected by this is me. But I can appreciate the regulations say in no case.
Well, it's you and at the end of the point, right? There's one house at the end of the point. They must, aren't they on that road as well?
Who's
Stay on that
actually-
road, but
They,
we're on the other side of our walkway, so I don't think it
No,
affects
no,
anybody.
he has to
No.
drive through to get to
No,
his
that,
house.
what I was looking at is this driveway
Yes,
is serving two additional houses
Just one.
past your house.
mine and Eric's.
No, the road serves Eric.
Yeah.
Eric has no driveway. The
The road
private
serves-
road just
And
ends
yours-
on Eric's.
And your driveway is before that?
Yes,
I have two driveways, correct?
one right across ours,
Uh,
one right here. And we've got another one
Up by
somewhere
the
here.
house. And the road just ends on, Mr. Johnson's property. And then from there, Pascal and Vicky
Climbs up.
wind up to their property and make a driveway to their house.
It's hard.
So the
I
setback,
think we're all trying to make it work, but
Yeah.
that in no case
I
is
know.
kind of scary. Any other thoughts from,
Yes, I had a question. In reviewing the shorelands permit that you have, I wasn't sure if there were any restrictions put on location, or if you were to move the location, whether that would be still in conformance with your
Well, if I move it,
shorelands permit.
if I move it away from the private road. We would have, like I said before, probably to cut 2 trees and we'll have to. Make another vegetation area somewhere else to compensate for that.
So I don't want to belabor this, but I want to come back to 9.1 as opposed to my misspeaking about 9.2.
Okay.
And I'd like to just read it and then I'll drop it if we don't want to go any further.
Okay.
9.1 says may be developed for the purposes permitted in the district in which it is located, even though the small lot is no longer conforms to minimum lot size and is not less than 1/8 of an acre and is not less than 40 feet in width and depth. This is a direct.
You're talking about a lot though, and
Wait, it says any lot that is legally subdivided may be developed. And that's a state law that I'm quoting.
where are you again?
It's right, the
Nine
very first.
point-
The very first paragraph?
9.1A.
Are you suggesting that he subdivide the property so he can add a garage? Because it's not any development. They can't develop it however they want. I mean, it's still.
Yeah, it doesn't say that, but what it says is the state obliges us to allow development on any small lot. And that development it gives two criteria. One of them is size and width, but it also says that we're obligated to allow him anything that is permitted, and that includes a garage. And I think in the case of trying to relocate this, we're creating a situation where he's going to have to go back to shoreland protection, where I would argue that we are able to consider it as presented in his site plan. 9.1 state law.
This is Lisa. I think you're I think you may be overextending the intent of that state law. Because I think that is regarding the ability of somebody to develop a small lot, but not in any way that they want to.
It says it doesn't say in any way they want to. It says permitted structures.
Right.
And
And you think
a garage is a permitted structure.
Well,
and so I've had a lot of experience with trying to deal with small lots. And this state law is something that's been on the book for a long time. And it's still in our zoning bylaws because it has to be there.
Again, I don't think it means that, I mean, anyone can build a garage and we still require them to meet setback regulations. So I don't think that is waived by the state law. I don't think that is what's meant by that state law. He can build a garage.
Law to you if you want it. I have that up too. But the state law basically says what's there.
Right, and I'm just saying that to me, it would need to be more specific to include other development other standards of development.
Where is the current
Next to the
shed?
house, way up on the hill.
Way up on the hill, okay.
I think it's, is it attached? No, like it's about a foot away from the existing house.
The shed? Yeah, it's about a foot and a half.
So
Okay, I was hoping it was down here and it was just. taking that down, then we could say.
Diana, yeah, may I ask you
Yeah,
a question?
sure.
I know I think there's disagreement on this, question, but when I chaired the DRB and I would go to Corinne, for clarification on certain things. She used to just tell me that the regulations, the DRB is meant to interpret the regulations. And I know we have to, we try very hard to stick to the regulations and approve things in accordance. It says this, it's black and white. And when we see things that we struggle with, you know, like David is doing a great job keeping track of things that, we recommend to the planning commission be changed. So referring back to this line that says, in no case shall you do this, you know, I can see where if you have a private road, like let's take Savage Point Road or Cedarvale, these long private roads that have many houses on them with a lot of traffic. But when you come to the end of a skinny little point that's eroding into the lake, that literally is
Yeah.
falling into the lake, we don't want to push any development toward the lake.
And you don't want to take trees down.
And you don't want to take trees down. And truly, you're affecting one neighbor who's an interested party to this case. It's not a Savage Point Road or a Cedarvale Road. But I appreciate that the regulations say in no case, and it's something that I'm gonna recommend to David in the list of things that we stumble
Well,
on these.
I'll
some-
just jump in here, Christine. This is Lisa Faring again. It's something that the fire department insists upon.
Well, I don't think in this instance, if that's the argument, I don't think that, because it's right there at the end. It's, the fire department's not gonna have an issue because the driveway goes before where the garage would be.
You mean my house?
Yeah, but your house is,
My house is quite a bit before where
yeah,
we want
so,
to enter for this garage.
yeah, so that it's not gonna block anybody as far as the fire department's concerned.
We've got the alley and like I said, it's a slope area, so
Yeah.
it's
He's
on
at,
the other side of our walking alley. So I don't think there's any issue with fire truck or
Yeah.
garage or no garage. It won't change anything.
This is Lisa, could we get testimony from Mike Murdoch on this, just to make sure we're in good?
I personally don't think that's necessary. We've got testimony from the neighbors saying that it's not blocking any, I mean, it's at the end of the road.
I'm not sure, because I don't read the National Fire Code standards, what exactly the issues may be that he's concerned with. I'd love to get the green light from him. It looks like it would be fine, but you know, we are not the experts, Diana.
Comments from other board members?
So our major problem is the setback from the road, not the setback from the neighbor. And right now, the setback from the neighbor is 18 feet. We could reduce that substantially if we so chose, because it's a side setback. Is there any way of modifying and positioning just slightly closer to your neighbor's lot line in a way that it meets the 25-foot back from the road?
That'd be rotating it.
Just
Mhm.
rotating it, and making it so that the one side is parallel to the road.
Maybe. It's just that I thought it would be very close to the property line.
Understood, but the property line is not as big a deal as the road.
Okay,
So it's,
we're talking about 10 feet, so we'd have to move it quite a bit.
I don't know if
This
it's
way.
feasible or not.
This way.
Remember,
No,
we're talking,
No,
Cut
this way.
those two trees for sure.
remember, we're talking the middle of the road, not, you're
Yeah.
10 feet from the side, so give yourself a few feet there. This is a former engineer.
Mhm.
That way or
And so this would be the closest point then.
which way?
And so
Yeah.
then you get the
Well,
20
whatever, whatever,
from
whatever
that
way
line to
from,
the middle of the road,
Mhm.
you get the 25 foot.
I'm trying to draw it
But then-
upside down parallel to the road. I'm not doing a good job. But if you come back parallel to the road, does it fit in here, coming closer to this property line, but maintaining the distance from the road over across the front of it?
It might fit. My only maybe problem is this part. I'm always up on the hill here. And if we move it this way, we'll have to go further or closest to this tree here, which has,
The whole root system.
yes. So if, like, you look at this picture here,
But we're talking 8 feet. If you did it at 10 foot off from the side,
mhm,
we're trying to solve your problem for you,
Yeah.
which is inappropriate probably,
Mhm.
but,
If he moved
because
that,
the
would that
side property line is
be a
less.
problem for you as a neighbor?
Would what,
If he moved that the way Elsie's suggesting, is that an issue with you as a neighbor?
oh, I know what the issue is. Is getting into the garage, because
I
we've
was
got an
wondering
alley
about that
here.
too.
We can't go into the garage this way. That's why we wanted to go from the side. Because the alley, which is
From
this
the
one
existing-
here. The way, if we rotate this, we'll have to go through the alley to get into.
What do you mean by the alley?
The walking alley,
The,
this here,
you're walking,
yeah.
yeah.
Or a pen or. So if we rotate this. Instead of going in the garage from here, we'll have to go from here. And this is sloped also. So
Yeah.
we'll have to,
It's also awfully close to the house.
to the house?
Wait,
No,
You're not rotating it that much. I mean, you're not,
yeah.
you just, that's from. Now, you may have to go over your current walkway, but it would just,
oh, I see the bottom.
Yeah.
Where
but
the,
then
where the.
your
like, mailbox
walkway,
is.
you won't. Okay, so you'd have to go. Can you do the walkway over a little bit?
because right now we were going like this into the garage. So if you move it this way. And
So
Well-
what it comes down to is, you have to, the
Do
one thing
something.
we can't do, you have to be 25 foot from the center line of your road.
Mhm.
So wherever the road is,
The center,
the center line of the road, yes, the
Okay.
center of it, wherever that is,
then
coming
draw a
back
line
25
25
feet.
feet and try to figure out
And
if I
try to
can.
figure out where
Okay.
it fits in there.
So that may be our best bet at this point is to recess so that Pascal can go back and do some measuring and try to make it work. Cause we're trying hard to help you
Yeah, I know.
here. Yeah.
I know you're
Um,
trying hard, but at the same time, can we try to look at the idea of if it's just the fire issue?
Well, it's not just the fire issue
No.
because this is pretty,
Does that-
at this point, it's pretty black and white. And the one thing that we do like to put common sense in things. But in a lot of the regulations, they allow for common sense, but unfortunately in this one, it's pretty black and white, at least how I
Yeah.
read it.
In no case.
Yeah,
In no case.
yeah.
It doesn't give us leeway to say you're a special case.
Okay.
Is there comments from the board? David, Charlie, thoughts on?
My thought would be to look at repositioning, which was my thought in looking at this from the very beginning before the meeting started. So I think that that's a good idea.
Reposition. David?
I don't have any additional comments. Everybody's covered it, I think.
Okay,
I have one request, if I could, please.
sure.
And Diana, I would like you to check with the Northwest Regional Planning Commission with Danielle and Greta or Catherine about small lots, if you would, please.
You want to know if this
I
could fall
want you
under
to know.
9.2?
9.1. And Mike, I'll
Chip,
send you.
what's your actual question, though?
The applicant, so the question was, my experience with small lots did not. I'd like her to check that out, please. That's it. I'd like her to know what a small lot means in zoning.
This is Lisa. It seems to me that what you described earlier about this is your belief that development means any structure that somebody could put on a regular sized lot, they could place on a small lot. Did I get that right?
That's not exactly right. I said that is permitted in the district in which it is located.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
And along with that, so if it is permitted and we must allow it, must we allow it without meeting our setback requirements?
That is absolutely true.
Interesting.
I mean, I think that's my question too. That's my question is what's the, are there do they get free passes on other parts of our regulations as well? I mean.
Well, I'll send the board a citation from the Vermont statutes too. You can look at it again, but I would like, I'd like to.
On a generic, generically, we can certainly ask them.
Yep.
Could we, this is Lisa, can I make a suggestion that we just add this item to business of the board for the next meeting? And we could just discuss the conceptually.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I would bring our attention also to C-2 under 9.1, which is improvements to non-conforming structures and uses. So I'll log that, Diana.
Okay, and we also logged, David, 6.2 D3, so we can discuss about the in no case.
Yeah, good.
Yeah. Okay.
I have them both logged. Good.
So can I make a motion that we recess this hearing until next month so that
A recess to a date certain, so
Yes.
next month is January, if I could see in the light here, January, I can't see what that says. 9? Is it January 9th?
Got it. It is January 9th.
January 9th.
30 PM.
Yeah. Is there a second to Darcy's motion?
I'll second.
I think Patty did it first. All those in favor of recessing, say aye.
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 All opposed? Okay, so, will you be around? Will you be here? And you can also zoom in if you're not
Okay.
here. So
I
if
might
you're,
zoom in.
that's appropriate. Maybe you can, as an interested neighbor,
I can
You-
work with you.
Okay.
you can,
Interested.
Well,
Okay.
what about Lisa's suggestion about, talking to the fire department? I mean, do they go out and measure the roads and say, yeah, this is wide enough? Or is it, you go out there and you go, okay, it's a dirt road that goes out there. Where is the center of it really?
From experience?
Yeah,
I know that they're more interested, are there trees growing up along the side of the road that are going to be in the way of a
truck.
fire truck?
yeah.
If the fire truck can move down the road and make the corners that are necessary.
It will stop way before my cottage, and let me tell you that, because some neighbors are not cutting the trees and it's getting narrower and narrower.
And some of
Even
them-
our garbage truck doesn't wanna come to our place anymore.
Mm.
So.
And some electric companies aren't having the branches.
Oh, I do know that. They aren't.
so we will, we've recessed, we will definitely bring this up, we'll follow up on both Lisa's and Chip's comments, requests, and, if you can try to, again, we're trying to
Yeah.
help here, if you can try to figure out if there's potentially another option.
Okay, I have one question, maybe I don't know if you can answer. For the shoreline protection, should I try to send them another drawing or
It's
because?
not gonna be, you're not gonna affect your closest to the lake. I mean, you've got.
Not
up to
closest to
14
the
feet.
lake, but I might have to cut trees, so this will
Oh, well.
impact maybe,
Let us know if there's anything that,
because if they come back and they measure and it's not exactly how I send them the drawings, so I'm gonna be in trouble.
I think that, whatever's decided,
I should wait before I do that.
I mean, you can talk, because you talked to Misha, right?
Yes,
You can tell him the current situation and that you might be changing it, and just check with him on what he would need to see from you if you do change the orientation of the garage. But
okay,
in my experience with him, you would just need to submit an updated plan, the same as you would with the DRB, to show the new location.
okay,
And I think that he would be able to, I mean, I can't speak for the state, but in my experience, he would be able to amend your current permit.
okay,
but hopefully, because I don't think any of us want you to cut down a large tree either. So hopefully we can figure this out without any
Mhm.
major.
okay. Okay, great,
So, okay,
thank you.
thank you. So we recessed it at 7, say 2 minutes ago. 7:24. Thank you.
Okay, have a good night.
You too.
Um. Is someone here? Further?
Mike and Caitlin.
Okay. So at 7:27. The hearing for application 2024-106 DRB conditional use. Nicole Y. Murtha Revocable Trust, location 607 Cedar Vale Lane, and who is here on behalf of this application?
I'm Mike Koch from Civil Engineering Associates, and Galen Hagan from Bird's Eye Site Work is also here via Zoom as well.
Okay, are there any interested parties? Are there any board members that have had ex parte communications or need to recuse themselves?
Diana, this is David Eric.
Yes.
I have had conversations with the owner, but only insofar as to alert them to the existence of the uh, bylaws and, you know, how to, apply for a hearing.
Okay, perfect, thank you. Okay, so, Mike and Galen, if I'll give you the oath of office here, or testimonies, that I hereby swear that the evidence I give in the cause under consideration shall be the whole truth and nothing but the truth under the pains and penalties of perjury.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mike, are you speaking, are you gonna walk us through it first?
Yeah, I'd be happy to do that. All right, so the project that we're working on is at 607 Cedarvale Lane. The property has approximately 100 feet of unprotected shoreline. It's mostly comprised of kind of a sheer bluff of shale, which is a soft rock, and relatively speaking. And it is currently being eroded by wave action and freeze thaw cycles, especially during high water. So the landowner started working and contracted with Birdseye, who in turn contracted with us to develop a shoreland stabilization project designed for this property. So we do propose a large stone seawall to protect the shoreline. And right now there's an existing set of wooden stairs that are used for lake access. And those will be replaced by a stone set of stairs, which will be integrated into the wall. And from the lake, what boaters and others are going to see is mostly it's going to be a natural stone that you'd see from regional quarries. There's no mortar. It's dry laid, so it's as natural as it could possibly look. These definitely aren't like precast concrete blocks. They're just natural stone that are more durable, creating an armoring effect rather than the existing shoreline that's there, the Pampton stone. Behind the large stones, we propose it to be backfilled with shot rock, which is smaller diameter rock. And that will allow it to be free draining, and it'll be able to resist freeze thaw cycles. So this proposed wall is proposed to be very durable and last a long time. And I also just wanted to touch on some other permits for this project. I did submit some correspondence that I had with Misha at Shoreline Protection, and it was at the time of this application submittal, we understood that this project did qualify for a shoreland registration rather than a full permit. And since the time that our local application was submitted, we have been issued a state shoreline registration. And that's to cover 2 trees that are proposed to be removed. And I'm happy to submit that after the fact to Danielle as part of our submittal package. And also because this project is below the 98 elevation contour, which is within the jurisdiction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, and we are going to be keying this wall into the existing rock to stabilize it and provide longevity and durability. It's going to be a very minimal amount of excavation, approximately 2 feet, just enough to key it into the wall, as you can see on sheet C21. But I'm digressing. We have submitted a U.S. Army Corps general permit application, and I have been in communication with Mike Adams at the Corps, and he is in the process of reviewing our application. So that's pretty much the summary of our project, and I'm happy to field any questions that the board or any neighbors might have.
I don't think we have any neighbors here, but board members, questions?
You'll be excavating it from the top of the ledge?
This is Galen Hagen. I'm one of the contractors or the contractor that'll be working on the project. We're going to access, we need to be below. We'll have an excavator up high, passing stones down. These are significant stones. So we're going to have an excavator up top, passing stones down, which is why we need to remove a couple trees. We will also have an excavator down on the shoreline, which we will gain access through the HOA's beach of 2 or 3 properties to the north. Nicole Murtha and her partner have contacted and gotten written approval from their neighbors just to cross their property to get our excavator over there. And we'll be reaching out to the HOA after this meeting with all the documents to go along with that, but we will be accessing it from down low.
Okay, and when you say key it in, is that key it into the existing bank or into the shoreline?
It's going to be the ledge, and again, I don't know what photos you guys have, but it's again, like Mike described, a pretty vertical bluff. So right below that bluff, it sits on ledge, the same ledge, and we will be digging out about a 2-foot recessed area hole, if you will, and that'll be our first course of stone will be placed inside of that, so it cannot slip forward or back.
Gotcha.
And that's the purpose. We don't want this. I mean, it's pretty significant. It'll be, I don't know, 15 or 17 feet at its highest point, and we need this wall to be stable, which starts from the base.
And Galen, how deep will this wall be?
Deep is in width wise.
Yeah.
Usually about 30 inches. So these blocks are anywhere from 30 inches tall. They're 30 to 36 inches tall, 30 inches deep, and anywhere from 3 to 6 feet long.
And is there a landing that's being incorporated into the stairs, or do the stairs go directly down to the beachfront?
Straight down to the beachfront. So no, there will be a landing up top where it kind of jets out. There's a natural kind of area for the stairs to go already where the ledge jets out. So we're going to be following those natural contours and just adding a set of stairs. One thing to add, and again, I don't think this matters, but we will be putting some sort of fence, maybe like one of those wire cable fences up at the top of this, because it will be a nearly vertical wall when we're done with it. So we need protection for that.
And did you say that the stairs were going to be made of stone?
Yep, all natural stone. So we have Panton stone, which comes from Panton, Vermont, a quarry that we quarry it out of ourselves, right on the lake down in Panton. So very natural for that aesthetic. It's kind of like a gray, mostly gray, but gray blue rock. And then we'll either use Champlain black or a blue granite for the stone steps.
And as I understand it through the application and the documents that you provided, the rest of the vegetation along the top of the ledge remains?
Yep. Yeah. So we'll be able to, there's a few trees that aren't labeled that are, if you look at the photos closely, that are dead. They're dead or dying because they're over the bluff right now, just barely hanging on. So those will get removed. Other than that, everything else will stay except for the ones that the state has already approved.
And the shot rock behind it, then that gets covered with topsoil, or what happens there?
Yep, exactly. So we'll put some topsoil and just make it lawn, essentially mimic what was there previously. This has been, we haven't, I don't have historic photos, but based on where the trees were, they probably lost about 8 to 10 feet of lawn in the last 10, 15 years. It's also worth noting that the property to the north has a similar repair, big block riprap. There's more of a riprap slope. They had a little bit more horizontal room to work with than we do. So there's more horizontal. And then south, I don't know if the property directly south has any remediation yet, but I think the next one down does, and you see all of these natural stone walls, you know, when you walk their beach. But also their stairs, again, worth noting for what it is worth, are unusable and inaccessible right now. They had to put it on their adjacent property, and then that they removed that, and they've become totally unusable currently. So
This is Lisa Faring again. I'm wondering about the question Chip raised. What about this warrants a conditional use permit?
That's a good question, and happy to have Danielle add to this, but it's because the property is in the shoreline zoning district and the flood hazard overlay district, which it's our understanding that any improvements within that area do require DRB conditional use review.
Rep, that's right, Mike. If you refer to the staff comments on the staff report, I noted that it's section 10.2A to D. That's where it's described why this is considered conditional use.
10 to A and B.
10 to A to D. It's on the staff report.
Thank you, Danielle.
Yep.
Yeah, I wrote down that 10-2, but I couldn't see anything that related to this and nor the conditional use, because I thought this was a permitted, you know, shoreline protection is. I thought that you had the ability to.
It states
It didn't
it's
seem like it was DRB
That's not within our jurisdiction.
related, yeah.
it's but I didn't know until Mike brought it to my attention, but he was right.
Okay,
It does say that it's a conditional use required for approval from DRB.
Specifically
Okay,
for shoreline stabilization measures.
Yes, yep.
the lake stabilization measures are,
Shoreline stabilization, yep. Because it's in those two districts.
okay, but is it in a flood district? Flood overlay district?
Mhm.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow. And where is that? Where is that shown on what, A&R map or whatever?
Yeah, NFIP maps, yeah.
Gosh, that really surprises me because
Yeah, it
it's so,
surprises me too.
I mean, David's is right down there too. It's
Mhm.
Yeah.
like,
You know, it's
Right.
like, it's at least 15 feet off the water.
yeah, when you're going by in a boat, you know, you're looking up at that cliff and it's, you know, I mean, we.
I had to do a Loma,
Loma, yeah.
for my property that's up on the cliff to get it out of the district.
Mhm.
Huh. So I wonder if, yeah.
Just in my limited experience as
Yeah.
ZA, I have found some properties that seem like they should be in the flood hazard overlay that are not,
Yeah,
and similarly opposite like this, they don't seem like they necessarily fit that, but they are.
Yeah. Do you know what the elevation of that site is? I mean, do you guys do that? I don't know. I didn't see anything like that on the drawing, but I mean, just.
yeah, we have all the CEA did a comprehensive topo survey, so we have all that. It must be 98 plus 17. We're probably at 100. Oh, Mike, do you have the plans in front of you?
Yeah, it's so if the lake is I mean, mean water level of the lake is 95.5 typically, and the top of the bluff is roughly at around 110. So it is in its current state about you know, more or less it does undulate as you go up and down along the property line, but it's about 12 feet up. So and higher and lower in some spots, but you know, we just wanted to abide by the zoning bylaws and,
Yeah.
you know.
Any other questions? From the board?
Thank you.
Diana, I don't really understand. I'm going back to my pictures here. Give me 1 second.
I have a physical copy here too, Christine, if that's helpful.
So Delcy, getting a letter of map adjustment, lets you say that you're above the 102, I think, foot.
I'm 100
And so then you're not in a flood hazard overlay area. I mean, this to me does,
Yes.
I don't even see why. I don't see which thing is applicable here at all. Could someone explain that?
For why we're looking
For
at
why we're
it?
looking at
Because
it.
again, if you go back to the 10.2
Ew.
and you go to A,
Yeah,
number 2, and it's a permit issued after conditional use review by DRB. And under that is shoreline stabilization measures.
oh, okay, because I looked at that, the chart that I thought, what was it, in 5 shoreline stabilization doesn't require DRB and it's labeled as a P in that, in whatever, table 5.1. So is that?
Let's go
This
back
is
to-
specific to flood hazard areas.
Correct.
It's table 5 when I do
Who said it's in a flood? area?
David said this is, that he was clarifying that that's specific to the flood
I
area.
know, but who says this is in a flood area?
The
Map.
engineer
The
and I
FEMA
looked
map.
at the map, the FEMA map.
The map says,
So.
Okay, 5.1.
Page 24, so 5.1. Shoreline stabilization measures are P, so they're P, permitted use. And I didn't think,
Are you in our regulations right now?
yeah, page 24 of the Northborough bylaws.
yeah, and it's and short, that includes shorelands, but it doesn't, I think it's obviously the flood.
I guess I'm
Area
questioning
that's-
the flood then,
I mean, I guess you could go back and question that. That's a state concern, right?
well, it's federal, right?
Federal.
Yeah,
Or-
the
yeah.
letter of map stuff is.
Well, at this point, it is what it is, and so. I think,
Patty, just to clarify, in table 5.1, it also says refer to Article 10 for land uses allowed in flood hazard overlay district.
So. Where does it say that?
right at the top,
Okay. Oh, yeah. Refer to Article 10 for land uses allowed in flood hazard overlay. Okay.
And 10.2, the very first paragraph, development permits in the flood hazard overlay.
so I think we've established that we do have to deal with it,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, Diana, are we ready to call the question?
I don't hear any other questions from members, so.
Well, this is Lisa. Sharon, I'm wondering if we can waive the requirements for site plans and Mylars for this project.
And what's your logic, Lisa?
Um, well, I don't believe that they're necessary in this case because there's plenty of other more professional oversight happening.
Yeah. That would be in provision. That I think would be something that would be discussed when we're discussing it in deliberations.
I disagree. I think that we should be transparent about whatever our decisions are in that regard.
Christine, did you have?
No, my friend Delcy said at least one.
Okay, so David, proceed.
I propose that we close the hearing.
I second.
Any discussion?
I
All those,
Wait, what was that, Lisa?
Okay, that's fine.
all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so the hearing is closed at 7:49. The board has 45 days to write a decision. Hopefully, we usually get it out before then. The holidays it makes it a little difficult, so it may be closer to the 45 days. But you will be hearing from, if you have any questions in the meantime, you can reach out to Danielle and she can help you.
For what it's worth, we appreciate your guys' consideration. Not to put any added pressure, but this is our window on these projects are limited to the winter months. So 45 days basically. And again, I understand it is what it is. We might lose a month of a 2 or 3 month project that we try to limit disturbance during the summer times and need the lake level to be low. So any expedition would be greatly appreciated, whatever you guys can do.
So just so we, go ahead, David.
I was just going to say, I think we really understand the issue.
Okay.
Yeah, but just so we're clear, what, this is a 2 or 3 month project, and ideally, just if we had to try to expedite anything, what date are you talking about would be ideal to start it, so you don't have to hold off till next winter?
We would ideally be mobilizing equipment right after the new year, where we have a lot of people out during the holidays, as everybody does for other obligations. And then when we come back, we're already quarrying the stone. We basically build, like, each one of our blocks is pre-selected, and we kind of place them. We build it, a section in the quarry and then truck it, because we can only fit 2 to 3 blocks in a dump truck. And it's an hour and a half away. So anyway, long story short is, ideally the new year we are able to mobilize.
Okay, we hear your concern. We appreciate you stating it.
Thank you. I appreciate your time this evening.
Okay. Anything else from you, Mike? Or are we all set?
No, thank you all for your consideration and for your time this evening.
Thank
Happy
you. Have a nice
holidays.
evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Same to you guys.
Bye.
Okay. We'll move on to business of the board.
Diana, Chuck just raised his hand.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Will I be needed for this stone wall consideration? I don't think I am I?
No. No, but any comments or thoughts that you have are always appreciated, but for the final vote, we do not need your vote.
You know, I think this is pretty straightforward, so unless there is some issue that you wish to have my input on, I'll sign off.
Um,
What about the business of the board, Chip?
there's something that's coming up in deliberations that I would love it if you could wait around a little bit.
Okay,
Okay, approval of the minutes. We'll try to go fast here, Chip. Approval of the minutes of November 14th. Any comments or any?
I just had a couple of spelling to pass along.
Okay.
But first I have to find them.
Here, do you want a copy? Or you probably wrote them down on your own copy?
Maybe. This, there.
I run the name here.
That's weird because mine has Byron.
No, it's in two places. In one place it's.
Yeah, but
different.
oh yeah, up here, mine doesn't either. Also present.
Mhm.
Oh, look, that's interesting because hers does. I wonder if
What
it came
is
out.
it?
Byron. It's
Byron
under also
Garcia.
present.
That's strange. Well, either
You
way,
may
I
wanna
can
check
change it.
Okay, or check it. And then under hearing 2024-95 DRB, oh,
Do we need to put in anything about the motions or not?
technically in minutes, we should say who moved it and who seconded it. And we only have to do a roll call if it's not unanimous.
Okay.
Was that the only other?
Yep, That's
Okay,
it.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Is there a movement to approve the minutes then? With those, with that correction on the spelling and the putting in who, the motion? Can we have a motion?
I'll move.
Christine moved to accept the minutes. Second.
I'll second.
I didn't believe them all.
We'll let was that Charlie or David?
It was Charlie.
Oh, Charlie, okay.
Made a duck, David.
Sorry, I can't, I can turn my head to look at the screen here. Sorry, Charlie. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, ZA report.
Fairly simple. It's kind of winding down the busy season. I've had, I think, two new permits maybe for sheds, which I don't even think are gonna be installed this winter. Most of the work I've been doing is certificates of occupancy for people closing out permits that they have obtained earlier in the season, and a couple of home sales. So I have issued certificates of compliance as well. Other than that, it is pretty straightforward.
Danielle, did the PC vote to update the fees?
Yes,
Done.
yes, they are taking effect January 1st.
Great.
Okay, shoreline subcommittee update, or do you wanna hold off on that one? Do you have anything new, David?
No, I think we continue to meet, and on the deck is to update the website with information on shoreline protection, the town website, and also continue to pursue the funding for the work that's being proposed on Peanuts Point Road.
Okay, thank you. Procedures discussion, do you wanna, anything that for this month?
Other than what we're gonna talk about.
Okay, so we'll roll that into a further discussion. DRB training, I'd sent something out to everybody that in talking to VLCT, they offer trainings, and one of them is that they're going to offer to us is just sort of the most effective way to hold a DRB hearing, you know, processes. And I thought it was something that would be possibly helpful to all of us. And, they're certainly willing to do it, and they actually just sent me an email with potential dates. So if I give you the dates, if everybody could get back to me, if they work, it's February 19th, or the 20th, or the 26th, or the 27th. Looking at a Zoom evening, training.
February.
Not,
Just
all
so
in
think again,
February,
please.
19th, 20, 26, 27.
Yeah, February 19th is a Wednesday. The 26th is a Wednesday.
Is this a one day program?
Yeah, it's just one training, and we'll get slides afterwards if you couldn't.
Are you saying that we have to, all of us do it on the same day, or we can choose our day out of these four?
No, they'll do it that one day, and then, but the slides would be available later, but it's a one-day training.
And Diana, is this being proposed for the evening specifically?
We can request it if somebody would prefer a different time.
What's being proposed?
They said evening,
Evenings, okay,
but I think that we could certainly request,
yeah,
potentially an afternoon or, even a morning.
yeah. So the 20th and the 26th work for me. The 19th in the evening is the Shoreland monthly meeting. And I have plans on the 26th.
The 20th works for me, Diana, and the following week I'm gonna be on the road.
Okay, so the 20th for Christine is only the 20th.
The 19th works too,
Oh.
but it sounds like I'm just piggybacking on David.
That's Shoreland from 6 to 7, but any other time would work.
What if they did the 19th, like at 4 o'clock in the afternoon?
That would be fine, yeah.
That would be really good.
The afternoon of the 19th, how does that work for people?
Is it like a 2-hour thing or an hour and a half?
I'm gonna guess it's about an hour. I don't think it's gonna be more than an hour.
Yeah, I think the afternoon would be great if
Okay,
they're willing to do it during the business day.
So that'll be Wednesday, February 19th at 4 would be our preferred time. then.
at 4 p.m. Is that okay if I propose that time to people?
I think that sounds great.
I'm all right with that.
Okay. All right, I will get back to them and then I will let you know. And then once we confirm the date and the time, if anybody has any specific questions, concerns, you can also always ask questions there, but if you have something ahead of time that you want to make sure that they address, let me know and we'll forward it to them. I know, Northwest Regional is interested in participating so that, they may potentially have their own training afterwards, so. I think this is a good idea. Okay, thank you. Supreme Court of Vermont decision. And here we're not discussing any case. We are just talking about the fact that we discovered that a Supreme Court decision, which was issued on October 25th, affects any hearing that we have post that date. That have not closed before that date, let's put it that way. The Supreme Court ruling, as you saw, according to our lawyer, because I am certainly no lawyer and interpreting it, basically in the past, and we have said that we are not lawyers and therefore we are not going to get in the middle of a legal issue between rights of way. That's not within our purview. This decision throws that on its head. And one of the questions that I asked our attorney, and I want to get the exact quote on this, so is because the decision refers it back to the environmental division. It keeps saying the environmental division is responsible for settling the legal discussion. And our attorney said, okay, the environmental division, which is the environmental court, has jurisdiction to do what the DRB could do. And so it has jurisdiction to do it, then the DRB must as well. So we are now required to consider that which means that we have to be doubly careful before hearings come to us that we have as much information as we can get, but as you know, sometimes we don't learn about things until interested parties, neighbors appear here and let us know. But we now have to consider legality of rights of way and do our best as
pertaining to rights of way, or is it broader than that, Diana?
Basically, the case that they heard had to do with a right of way. So that's what they were addressing.
I thought as I read this, though, that I hear what you're saying, but I thought as I read this, that the onus was put on the applicant to prove that they had a right of way.
That is correct, but as you know from past hearings, sometimes an applicant will come with a deed which says, I have a right of way. And then a neighbor will say, well, wait, my deed says it says basically the opposite of what their deed says. So they are.
But I don't see where that changes anything, because it's still the applicant has brought documentation that they have the right of way. If there's a dispute after
Charlie,
that,
just to be clear, we're not talking about any particular
I understand.
hearing here, yeah.
Not either. I'm not either. This is a general discussion. If the applicant brings a deed and proof that he has a right of way, it's incumbent, the way I read that, and again, I'm not a lawyer, but it says that they're the ones that have to prove that they have the right of way.
This
So if
is
someone,
this is Lisa. Yeah, I read it the same way, Charlie, but that's always true for everything that an applicant is doing, is they always have the onus to show us that they are meeting the requirements of whatever it is that they're trying to do. And if they require a right of way or an easement, then they should be able to demonstrate that they have that.
And we should be able to obtain all of this in testimony upon which we can make our decisions. I think the issue is if there's a conflict in testimony, it sounds like, according to Diana's research here, that we are now bound to solve that conflict, which probably means that we have to go to our attorney to get advice, to do the dig deep in the files or whatever is necessary to sort out the conflicting documents.
Well, yeah, and this is Lisa. Right. Well, we would collect whatever evidence is appropriate. It's not just testimony. It can be documents, and I think I sent out a rules of evidence kind of
Document
primer.
proposal.
But Yeah, I think there are definitely cases where it could be beyond us and we want to go to the town attorney. But there's probably plenty of things that we can adjudicate ourselves just because we can read. So,
And as always, we will do our best to do the right thing and interpret the materials presented to us correctly. Again, this does not take away one's right to appeal the decision that we make. It can still go to the environmental court. They may read something differently than we do, but it just means that we have to look at things in a different way a little bit. It was. Oh, so Chip, yes.
Fortunately, 99.9% of the time, the right of ways in question are ones that the DRB has created or the planning commission. So I can see that this is a pretty complex question for that small number of cases.
Well, I just wanted to bring it to everybody's attention. Delcy and David and I all had a long conversation with the lawyer so that we were fairly clear, or as clear as we could be, on what this meant for us.
So let me.
thanks, Diana.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, well, that's what Diana, what you said, that they could still go and appeal whatever our decision is to the environmental court. Yes, that's true, but aren't right-of-ways and easements still a civil issue in addition to that? I mean, that's been why we have not been able to you know deal with easements and right-of-ways
I
in the
think
past. It's because it's a civil issue,
and I think
and they changed it.
yeah.
But did they change it? Did they change it? Just I mean, my reading through that case was that they changed it because we we need to make decisions, land use decisions, um, based on our interpretations of the rights of way and easements, and that's important to us. But does that take away all of the jurisdiction of easements and rights of way from the civil court?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Anyone is free to go to court.
So I want to get clear. You're saying that our attorney is saying if we have conflicting deeds, then it's our obligation to decide which deed is is the one we're going to choose,
Yeah.
Yes.
make our decision on?
Well, hopefully there's additional information,
Yeah.
but yes.
Yeah. I think it drives the
So,
need to do the research on
can I be?
and probably discover mistakes or filing mistakes or things that happen in town offices within the municipality. I could see why they're doing this.
So one of the things the lawyer said, as we were asking questions, was, the applicant has the burden of proof.
Right.
And it essentially says that, in order to grant a permit, have to show all elements, of meeting the requirements. And if you come into it then went into the hierarchy of evidence, which is the fun part that you're talking about, which is, in the sort of the he said kind of evidence being presented. What do you weigh more and how do you weigh it? And that at that point, my comment was, at that point, we go to our town attorney.
Yeah, I mean, don't forget, we're a quasi judicial board. This makes total sense. But because we're not lawyers, we might want to go to a lawyer at times.
And if we know ahead of time that there's going to be a contentious hearing, we could ask the lawyer to be present
Absolutely,
at that hearing.
absolutely. And that
Like
would
that
probably
idea.
be a brilliant thing to do to cut to the quick.
You know. You pay him ahead or you pay him behind, right? So that was just an FYI, that's something moving forward that we have to consider.
Well, so I have a question about that though. So if someone comes in and they say, I have a right of way here, and there's no one here contesting it. That no neighbors come in and say, no, that right of way is mine, or you don't have that right of way to do that. So we look at that one deed in that case and we go, okay, we're gonna grant you the right of way, because no one said we shouldn't. No one came in and said, my deed said that. you
Or,
can't have
or
that,"
if Danielle has looked to see if there's a previous DRB decision or something
Right,
that might
right,
say.
yeah.
So we look at, we try to look at everything that's in the town offices that we've
But
got.
you don't look at other, you wouldn't
No.
pull up the neighbor's
No.
deeds
No.
unless a neighbor came here to
Correct.
contest it.
Correct.
So that kind of seems, the information is there if we want to look at it. I mean, if you want it, if anybody comes in and, wants to do something, you could look at we could look at the neighbor's deeds
Yeah, but
without someone can.
But we're
bring
relying
it
on the
as-
testimony
Yeah,
of the applicant, and it's their burden to give us.
So, but they're not gonna come in with the neighbor's deeds.
no, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
neighbors get,
I
they
know,
all
they
get,
A chance to come.
yeah, they're
notified.
they get, information that the hearing's being held and what it's on.
And so
So,
if they don't come in.
If they don't come in, that's not,
That comes
we-
back to the burden of proof.
yeah,
Okay,
Right.
yeah. Sometimes it's kind of like, if you know where the information is and you can just go and get it and figure it out.
yeah, but that's not our,
It is
that's-
not
We're,
our
we
job.
have
that's
to
not
rely
our
on the
job.
person
Yeah.
sitting here and the testimony and the exhibits that they provide.
Okay, so say if no one comes in and then you're trying to figure out what this guy's deed says or this person's deed says that, nobody's contesting it. And we can't figure it out. How deep can we dig to try to figure that out? I mean, is it just, can we look at the previous deeds related to that deed from,
we look at
or-
what,
does someone else have to?
I mean, I don't think if someone comes in with a deed and there's nothing in the that on that property that has anything, relative to it or,
A decision.
yeah,
Yeah.
then I think you do your
That's-
best thing and that's what you look at. But,
Okay.
but I don't want to prejudge anything that might come down the road, but that's,
But you don't dig deeper to find out,
we
No.
don't come up with, we don't say, well, we're not sure this is right and therefore we're gonna seek information to support. No, you can't do that.
Or we don't trust
Well,
you.
we can do that, but this is Lisa again. Back to just sort of the basic principle that the applicant has to prove that if they need a right of way to do something, that they have a right of way
Mhm.
or the right to a right of way. And so I think you're contemplating a situation in which they have not been able to prove that. And
Yeah.
in that case, we would have to reject whatever it was that they were
Yeah,
providing.
yeah. Okay. Two
Diana?
houses.
Yes, Jeff.
I'm trying to think of how this might come before us, and I have a suspicion that the existence of the right of way will not be in question as much as the use of the right of way. And
Yeah.
so that, although that places the burden on the applicant might well say, I have a right of way and it's not defined in any way and it's not restricted in any way. Ergo, I have a right to that right of way. and then the neighbor will say just the opposite, and that's the kind of conundrum that we'll be in.
And there's that long document that I sent about easements and rights of way in Vermont. I think it's like 70 pages. And
90.
90, well, and we might need to consult that, but I doubt that. I think that will be few and far between when that happens. I hope.
We can only do our best. So, okay, so just FYI to everyone, it's on the public record now that this is a change. So do we have any Mylar approval? We do, but we don't have to do that here in the public hearing.
I thought we did.
Do we?
Well, I
We don't have
don't
to.
know because haven't done it since I've been here, but
No, we
they're
don't have to
supposed to
do
be
that.
approved by the board. But I don't know if they have to be in this, if they can be in deliberative, I guess. I
We
don't.
usually have one person sign off on it, make sure that it's,
If it's been submitted as part of the final. Was it, if it was part of what we looked at the final hearing. And through our deliberations, and it just is a Mylar of that document.
Mhm.
Then just the chair just needs to sign it.
Oh, okay.
But if it has to have substantive changes or anything like
Yeah.
that, then we all have to look at it again and say yes.
If we
go
sent
ahead.
the applicant away saying, come back and put X, Y, and Z on this, then
Right.
it needs to come
Okay,
back to
that
the
makes
board,
sense.
and we need to check X, Y, and Z,
Okay. Thank you.
and then the chair can sign it.
Okay.
so we're on.
Yep.
I can come into that.
Yes. I just.
Oh, that's fine, no,
Said-
that's
said
fine,
that.
that's fine. Other business. Okay, so, Chip, thank you for staying around. And listening. I don't think we will need your vote for deliberations. As I said, you're always welcome, but that's,
Thank
That's-
you.
so we were gonna go into deliberation.
Everybody have a happy set of holidays.
Thanks, Chip.
Well, same to you, Chip. 8:20, we're going to deliberation. And somebody can then. Would somebody like to, we're out of deliberations at 8:57. Would somebody like to move to adjourn?
Before we do that, I would just like to thank Danielle because I think that the quality of the applications has certainly improved with her handling of it. So thank you.
That's very nice of you, Charlie. Nice job. I agree.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate that. And thank you, everybody.
She
And then
works-
I'll move to adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
Second by Lisa, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we're adjourning at
Happy
8:58.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yep.
Happy holidays to everybody.
I'll actually be there over the holidays.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How
I'm
long
coming
will you
up
be up
also.
Right.
Oh, we could have a DRB party.
We should. No, we couldn't talk about any business.
And we wouldn't
Okay.
want to.
All right. See you next month, if not sooner.
All right. Be well, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.